welcome to Real Life Cooking. I'm over here in the edge trying to get Instagram over here. Hey guys, welcome to Real Life Cooking. Chefleen here. We're in a whole new kitchen, a whole new world. We're in LA, and I have my very lovely guest, Jazmyn W, who is a comedian slash, I don't know what else.
Slash comedian, slash actress, I guess. Slash, slash.
Dot. And we are in the lovely house of Seema. Thank you so much for letting us use your kitchen. And tonight we are making plant-based Thanksgiving foods. So this is for all the plant eater people out there who are on the trend, watching their diet, all those things, and you're kind of sad that Thanksgiving is coming up and there's going to be no star for you. Or you might just cheat on Thanksgiving. It's a good time to cheat. Also, as always on Real Life Cooking, you can drop your comments and questions below, culinary or otherwise. We have Jazmyn again. She can talk about comedy.
I can talk about
living in LA, relationships.
Yes,
she's like
married.
An expert.
What do you want to talk about?
So, yeah, drop your questions in below. Today, unfortunately, we do not have TT Lyle on the ones and twos. We have Kiana. Woo! Kiana Gardner over here on the ones and twos. Very much struggling at her job, so this should be interesting. And we just started. So today we're going to be making shepherd's pie with lentil, a lentil base instead of meat. How do you feel about that?
Girl, it's going to be a new experience for me because I'm hood adjacent. So while I grew up in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas, my mama never cooked no shepherd's pie, okay? She cooked,
And probably not a lot of lentils either.
No lentil. She don't even know what a little lentil is. So, yeah.
So we're making shepherd's pie as our main meal. It's normally a main meal. And a lot of times vegetarians and vegans, they get like thrown off or like discounted because you always are eating side food. Yeah. Oh, also, I should mention, Jazmyn is a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So this is like right up her alley because she's such a great cook and she's going to go home and make these like as soon as we finish. So we're going to make that as our main entree. And then for a side, we're going to be making broccolini with garlic and Parmesan. Actually, all this food is vegan. It's not even just vegetarian. We're taking it a step further today. And to finish it off, we're going to be making a chocolate pie because it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without pie, right?
Right. That's facts.
That's facts. All right, so we have a ton to do today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, I noticed Facebook, you can't really see the cutting board. So if you could just scoot it back a little bit more.
Chris,
or maybe angle.
Watching.
Oh, yeah, Chris. He's also here live. We also have Cash here in the building.
Hey.
Kiana's really, Kiana's so good at this. Guys. If you ever need a video editor person,
there we go.
That's her. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start chopping up an onion. I'm going to show you how.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, if you guys have watched this show, this is the best way to cut an onion if you need to make it into small pieces. So you cut it in half. I'm like kind of rushing through it, but
I like to cut everything into small pieces when I cook.
It makes it more fancy, right?
Yeah, it does.
It makes you feel like more elevated and elegant. All right, so you have the root end intact right here. Ooh, this is like really good close up here. And then you're gonna cut your knife horizontally through. This is the part that you might be scared about. Yeah. Don't be scared. You wanna be very forceful with it. And then you're gonna turn the onion to you, and then you're gonna run your knife vertically through, just like that. Being careful of your fingers, of course. And then we're gonna turn it the other way, and then we'll end up with a nice, even dice. And the closer you make your cuts, the smaller your pieces are gonna be. But we're gonna saute this down, so these are even gonna get smaller as we cook them down.
Did y'all see how fast it was? Oh my god.
All right, so your turn. Do you need supervision? Should I like stand over here and watch?
No. Girl.
I'm a little scared.
Talking about supervision, girl.
Jazmyn told me about her culinary skills before we started. Oh, you also want to remove this outside layer. It can be a little tough.
Yeah.
I normally take off. It seems like you're wasting it, but then when you cook it down, it always has like a different texture. So
okay.
Are you already crying?
Onions make my eyes like really hurt.
Speaking
they
of
really
which,
do.
Autumn, Joy, she said she would be crying right now. Is there something we can do when we're cutting to make it like
close your eyes, girl.
don't close your eyes.
Got your fingers.
All right, so you want to, Perfect.
So
It is getting really strong now. So the best thing that I have discovered, which you're probably not going to do, is put a piece of bread in your mouth because it kind of absorbs some of that, what's it called? Sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid.
My mom said you can wear goggles.
Or you could do that. Or you could, if your knives are super sharp, it makes for less bruising on the onion, so you're not going to get as much of that sulfur coming out.
Okay.
And the other thing is to cut really fast, so you're just done with the job quicker. Perfect. Yeah, this is you just undersold yourself over here. I'm gonna just get a pan starting to heat up over here with just a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna start sautéing our onions over here.
So for reference, I don't want anybody to get offended by this, but I told my husband that
Perfect way to start something when you're not gonna offend anyone.
That I can either cook, I can only do two. I can cook, be in shape, or work, and I can't do all three, right? So I can either cook and be in shape and stay at home, or I can be fat and cook and work. And he said, you ain't gotta cook. I said, okay, cool.
Oh, that sounds like a good deal. I think you should share that with women everywhere.
I don't work no more, so now I gotta cook. Because I don't work.
Okay. Well, oh my gosh, okay, the onion is like really getting crazy.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so normally at home I use my bench scraper to like move everything to the stove because you never want to use your knife to pull this all up because you're going to just dull your knife. So today we'll just move the whole cutting board over to the stove and get this starting to saute a little bit.
Sorry, what's in the pan? Is that olive oil?
Olive oil.
Okay.
All right, and then while that's sauteing, we want to start browning our mushrooms. Oh my gosh, the onion was super strong.
I know.
So first I actually want to start rinsing them off, and then I'm going to just show you. We're just going to simply, I'll rinse, and then you just simply slice like this. You could really cut them however you wanted. If you wanted a more meat-like texture, you could throw them in like a food processor, so it's more like crumbly meat or ground beef.
So wait, you don't have to cut this little hard piece off?
No, it's not going to kill you. You could if it makes you happy, but you don't have to.
Looks like a little... Can I say what it looks like?
Sure, let us know. Let us know what the first thing that comes to mind is.
It's like a little penis. I don't know.
This?
Yeah,
The little stem?
The little stem.
Sometimes they are.
That's micro.
Sometimes they're a little woodier, so if you don't want that texture, but I think that texture is actually kind of lovely, especially in a dish when you're replacing. Why do I keep saying lovely today? I'm like in England. It's so lovely. I think the texture is nice, especially when you're making a dish that is kind of soft. You know, like everything is soft inside of it. So it'll give a nice texture. Yeah.
Okay. I watch a lot of Top Chef. You know, texture is very important.
Texture is. It's taste, texture, appearance. Those are the three things of cooking that are very important.
I noticed. That's why white people put a lot of crunchy stuff on their stuff, you know? Because it's about the texture.
I mean, it is.
I've learned.
Yeah. All right. So also, while she's cutting up those mushrooms, I am heating up another pan. We're actually going to cook the mushrooms separate, and I'll tell you why. Because mushrooms have a lot of moisture, and to get the maximum amount of flavor out of a mushroom, you want to draw out all of the moisture, as much moisture as possible. And the way you draw out moisture is high heat and getting a lot of color on it. Like, color is flavor, just like everything in life. So you want to cook them separately, because if we were to put them in the pan with the onion is already taking so much surface level of the pan that there's a lot of moisture created when we put in our mushrooms. So we want to cook our mushrooms as dark and as possible.
So wait, you saying water is gonna come out of the mushroom when you cook it?
Yep. There's a ton of water in here. Have you ever seen dehydrated mushrooms like in the grocery store?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually a good thing to put in too for more flavor if you wanted to rehydrate them and then like mix them into this mixture.
How do you rehydrate them though?
You boil some water and then just let them soak for like 15 to 20 minutes.
So you do like
they won't like pop back up to this like magic dinosaur eggs, but they will like become more pliable and soft.
Can you do like vegetable stock or like chicken stock for more flavor?
For sure. Question?
Hannibal the African says, "Don't cut yourself."
Who? Hannibal the African.
I'm assuming that's personal, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know.
Alright, as she's cutting these, I'm going to start moving some of them to our pan so we can keep this moving.
Hannibal, my husband's African, so I thought that you was trying to, come at me for a second, but you didn't know that.
All right. So I'm gonna do half the mushrooms over here. You know what else I did not take out here that is very important? Is salt. You don't have any salt. And everyone is gonna be like, what the heck, Chefleen?
Hannibal the African says he's Jamaican.
Well, we all from the same place. Don't get technical with me now, Hannibal.
All right, so I'm just putting some salt. I'm salting our onions and our mushrooms back here. And now I have salt all over my hands because my hands are wet. Also, remember, if you're just joining us, you can drop any questions, comments below in the box. We are making a plant-based Thanksgiving. Right now, Jazmyn is chopping up some mushrooms for our meaty filling of our shepherd's pie.
I'm so loud.
And we're also, why am I so loud?
You're chopping so loud?
Because she's really getting it.
The audience here is roasting in the room.
I didn't know this was a roast, right?
Chefleen doesn't sound that.
We don't need hecklers here.
You're our
Come on
comedian,
over
right?
here, Chris Coy, and you show us how it's done, okay? Chop softly. You know, actually, I probably chop softly because I work for a lot of people with kids who used to take naps. And they would be very angry when I was like chopping. I'm like, what do you want dinner? Like, I understand, but there's only so much quiet I can do when I'm cooking. Alright, so I'm just going to move around our onions back here. Now she's extra doing it, right? We're getting nice. I want to show you guys the color on these onions that we're getting.
Sort of. Can you see? Ooh, those look good.
Yeah, and the more color that we're going to get on our onions and mushrooms, the more flavor. What we're doing is producing the Maillard reaction, which is bringing all those sugars out and helping caramelize everything and makes it sweet and much more flavorful.
Hannibal says, please keep the knife on the board.
He is coming for you.
Okay, I'm not about to play with Hannibal. I ain't going back and forth with you.
So Kathleen, preference, wood or plastic chopboards?
Wood or plastic? It really depends on... Actually, I prefer plastic if you have a dishwasher because you can just throw it in the dishwasher and it's a little more sanitary. But I do love the look of wood, and it's a little bit softer on your knife. So if you care about your knife a little bit more, then...
So wait, I can't throw my wood in the dishwasher like I've been doing?
No. You shouldn't put anything wooden in the dishwasher. You shouldn't put
Nor your knife.
wooden spoons, cutting board, bowls, anything like that. Like, wood is very porous, so you don't know if it's even like dry on the inside when you take it out.
I've been doing that, girl.
Alright, these onions are looking good, so I'm gonna put some of our mushrooms in this one as well.
Should I finish these?
Yeah, finish them.
Yeah, it smells good. I smell onion.
I mean, as soon as you start cooking onion, it just smells good.
And mushroom.
But the key here, you guys, is color. You definitely don't want to have like mushrooms that look like my face in your lentil pie because it's just not going to taste delicious. It's the winter. I'm not as tan as I used to be. I use my skin color as reference for a lot of cooking things.
What are we cooking again?
Today we're making shepherd's pie, plant-based shepherd's pie. So we're making a filling with mushrooms and lentils and tomatoes. And it's going to be really hearty and fulfilling even though we're not using any meat. The next thing that we're going to want to do is put in some garlic. I often like to use garlic powder, but this is a case, like when you're using vegetables, you want to have as much flavor as possible. That's often the biggest complaint about like vegetarian food is that it's kind of bland or not so good. So you want to use all the freshest ingredients that you can. So I'm just going to peel like 3 cloves of garlic. So I just took off the tops and the bottoms. I'm going to roll it around. Oh, you guys are going to have... I'm actually going to have to mince this garlic by hand. I normally use my microplane and it's like super fast.
Girl, what's a microplane?
A microplane is like a little mini grater.
Okay.
And it makes like a paste out of your garlic. So it makes your job super easy.
Autumn says you should just add steak and flavor it up that way.
Oh yeah, or bacon. Bacon would be a good addition here. For sure. So we'll have like a kind of rough chop here. So I kind of am doing the same method as like when I did the onion, cutting horizontally and then cutting vertically. So then I end up with a chopped garlic already. It'll make it a little easier to mince it later. Now we'll use Big Mama here. Big Mama garlic. And you notice, you guys, we're not playing with our mushrooms and onions over there, because another way to create that flavor is to not move it around and create steam. If you move it around, you're creating steam, which is going to not enhance your flavor.
Are we adding any like broth or?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
But in a second. All right, this is gonna cook down a bit, so we don't need this to necessarily be a paste, but we want it pretty fine. I've heard that people get very offended with big pieces of garlic. You also wouldn't want to use the garlic in a can here, or ever, actually.
Yeah.
What about the garlic?
Why
Sometimes
not?
I buy the garlic in a jar.
Why?
Why?
No, absolutely not. I'll tell you why.
Oh my god, I buy it all the time.
You don't want to use, so garlic has a property called Allison, and as soon as you chop
Allison,
it,
I know her.
yes, Allison, that girl. And as soon as you chop it, it releases its Allison, so the longer it sits, the more strong it gets. So that's why, like, it can taste like more green or too sharp or all that. So if you're using fresh garlic, you want to chop it yourself. The most that I would do is buy already like peeled cloves, but I would never buy garlic already chopped. Never. If you have a food processor and you need to do a lot of garlic, that's the best way to like mince or chop your garlic.
All right, I love garlic and onion, and I don't want to brag, but it stays on my breath. It stays on my breath, so I have to brush. It stays on my breath for like a whole 24 hours, so I really have to make wise decisions about when I eat it and what I'm going to be doing the next day.
What about the same night?
The same night.
No?
Yeah, but girl, you know.
All right. Next, we want to open up these cans. So we have this food. I'm sure you know how to
Kathleen,
open
we
it.
have
right?
comments. You are basically like a scientist. I would say a food scientist.
Yes, I am. Almost. I used to work for America's Test Kitchen on cruise ships, so I learned a lot of facts. And I'm still very interested in a lot of facts. I'm like the girl Alton Brown, but not that nerdy. Maybe corny, but not that nerdy.
Now, Chef, one thing that I learned is whenever you have canned stuff, you're supposed to like wash this off, because when your top falls into the stuff,
There's dirt on top.
Bacteria.
That's true, but you probably won't die. It'd be very random. There's a lot of things a lot of home cooks do because, you know, you've learned. But if you've been around for years and years and years, I mean, you should. You can.
So she basically said, Jazz, you know what? I'm going to get you together. It's
no,
unnecessary.
you can. If it makes you feel better. It's kind of like chopping off that piece you asked me to chop off earlier. Like, it's not going to hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing all this.
But you know what? With the little the stems that you left on, it makes way more sense when I see it cooking. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So the thing I am going to do with these, so if you wanted, you could boil your own lentils, cook them up yourself. But it's real life cooking, so we want to skip a step if we can. And canned lentils are totally fine. They have the same amount of protein, same amount of like properties. These are actually organic.
What
Yeah.
about the sodium? There's, like,
These
tons
are,
of sodium
they
in
don't
cans.
always have sodium. You can get them without. They'll have like no salt or no sodium.
So wait, you telling me I can buy canned lentils and they're just as nutritious or almost as nutritious as fresh?
Yeah. It's the same thing. They just boil them and put them in a can.
Girl.
And it's not like a vegetable that's like
Never
Really?
mushy.
No, by cans.
But better than canned are like those you were talking about earlier, the vacuum seal packs, like at Trader Joe's or something.
Yeah, those are the ones I use.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. When you told me lentils, I was thinking those little green things. But what are those?
Those are lentils too.
Oh, they're just a different
There's
kind.
3 different kinds. There's brown, red, and green, and yellow actually.
Okay.
So
Red and yellow.
you can actually steam them to make tea. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard.
Why
that.
would you want lentil tea?
Hannibal, the African.
Yeah. We're
Oh,
also
Hannibal
talking-
said that.
Yeah,
okay,
we're also
well, I need him
talking-
to answer.
I mean, you could steam anything to make tea. The question is, would you want to drink lentil juice?
Why, Hannibal?
And even like frozen vegetables are better.
Yeah, because they're picked at the peak of their ripeness and
I've
then
heard that,
frozen.
yeah.
And fruits too.
Yeah.
Frozen?
That's what I was thinking. Frozen.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
just
canned
the
I
whole
never
can.
buy frozen because I'm like
Yeah.
scared
Canned
that
or
it's
frozen. You know.
It's the same.
Yeah, frozen is good. Frozen vegetables are pretty good.
So that's what I was saying.
Oh, the
I
munch-
am rinsing off these lentils.
Yeah.
Anytime I have like beans or lentils in a can, I always rinse them off.
Why?
because this juice isn't like that delicious.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like Seema just said, if they do have salt on it, you're kind of like rinsing off some of that salt. Like this could be very salty. But often I find beans in cans are normally not that flavorful at all. You have to season them really well. Oh, so your question about lentils, the different flavors, red and yellow tend to be more mushy. So I wouldn't recommend them with the shepherd's pie because the textural differences again. You want it to be more meaty. All right. So we have our lentils, and then if you could open those tomatoes.
What about pink lentils?
Pink lentils?
Yeah, are there pink lentils? That's what Hannibal.
Hannibal is just a food expert over there.
He's like the cloudy chef. He's like the cloudy chef.
I personally have never seen pink lentils, but maybe he's thinking of red lentils because similar. Yeah. I've never seen anything labeled pink lentil though. Oh, this I want to show you guys. This is like what we're looking for with our mushrooms.
Huh?
My eyes are burning still
From the onion. Yeah, mine hurt.
This is the color you want to get on your mushroom. Careful. It's super hot.
I'm gonna eat that.
I love it.
But
When I tell you that's good, it tastes like a little peanut kind of.
a peanut? Oh yeah, that's all that color we got on there. All right, we're almost to the
We
point.
need some more of them.
Some more what? Mushrooms? We're gonna eat a whole meal in a second.
Those are so good. I would not lie to y'all. Because if it wasn't good, I'd be like, okay.
Okay, we're doing something.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's
Also, Hannibal says there are actual pink lentils. He's in culinary school, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
thanks for
you
teaching
know what?
us.
I'm about to block Hannibal. Is this mine? Oh, this is not mine? Okay. I'm just kidding, Hannibal. I hope you know I'm kidding.
No, we appreciate the commentary. I love the commentary.
Keep watching, because you the only person commenting, so. How much?
The only place that she's reading commenting.
I'm reading all of them.
No, you're not. You missed
I
one.
am.
All right, so while our mushrooms and onions and garlic are getting acquainted over there, we're gonna make our mashed potatoes that are gonna go on top. So I've already boiled some mashed potatoes, I've already boiled some potatoes,
But no butter because it's vegan, right?
well, we're gonna use vegan butter.
So good. Try that. No,
It is.
tell her.
It is really
that
good.
vegan butter,
gonna
girl.
taste
You can taste it. You should
It
taste
doesn't
it
even
by
taste
itself.
like.
Taste it by
It
itself.
doesn't taste like. It
Is it
tastes like
salty?
real thing.
I don't think it's
Like
salty.
the real
I don't know.
butter.
I've eaten this
So
just
good.
on bread before, well,
Yeah,
gluten-free
like
bread, just
Really?
like by itself. Yeah.
So good.
It's
Cheers.
Miyokos or Mayokos.
My yogurt.
Here you go. So you can taste it.
So good.
What can I taste it with one of the?
Yeah, that's what I brought that over there. Or where
Let me taste a little bit.
Put it on a potato.
Oh,
My eyes are
It's
burning.
not
Tastes
bad,
good,
right?
That tastes like butter.
It tastes like butter.
I can't believe it's not.
I can't believe it's butter.
Well, I can't believe it's not
Vegan
butter. It's
butter.
also vegan too, because
Yeah.
it's made from.
Is it really vegan though?
It's made from oil.
vegetable,
Yeah.
right?
Like vegetable oil.
It's not. I think this is probably better for you than.
Yeah.
Although, because this is like made with coconut oil and cashews, whereas that is made with like vegetable oil or canola oil. Yeah. Like more saturated fats. Where is? Oh, here's the other thing.
Well, we're actually pescatarian, but it's hard because my husband has a nut allergy. So like something like this, you know,
Oh,
we
yeah,
couldn't
you
go
can't.
vegan because there aren't enough options for people with nut allergies.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Even though I think he has a fake nut allergy because he still be eating pecans. I'm like, how?
Well, you could be allergic to different kinds of nuts.
Girl.
Let's all laugh at that hilarious innuendo there. All right, if you want to sprinkle these potatoes with garlic powder,
Right here?
Yep.
Okay.
'cause
Chris has a question. How did you and your husband meet?
Oh, people just really want to know my business. We met in high school,
Wow.
but we didn't date in high school. We're not high school sweethearts. No.
then that was not enough. Continue to sprinkle.
Tell me to stop.
Keep going. So this is another thing a lot of home cooks don't do is like they get scared of seasoning. Seasoning is flavor.
You can always
You can always put
add
more,
more.
but you're really not going to over season potatoes. Potatoes are starch, so they hold a ton of flavor and a ton of seasoning. Salt, garlic powder. We'll stop there and then we'll see.
Okay.
So let's add in, just like real mashed potatoes, a half a stick of butter.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, before we start doing that,
Wait,
I want you to mash these because if you've ever had potatoes that are like super starchy or like super gluey, it's because press it all the way down. It's because they've been overworked once you've added in your butter. Excuse me, peanut gallery.
So you want to add in your butter after you mash?
Yes, you want to mash your potatoes first. Preferably, you like them to be dry. So if you want to make perfect mashed potatoes, you should like let them dry or toast in the pan a little bit, or like even toast them in the oven, and then mash them, and then add in your butter or cream. In this case, we're gonna add in vegan butter and coconut milk. So once you get them to the consistency that you think, okay, this is like a good, then you want to start adding in everything else.
Y'all know what? When I have children, one day I'm gonna get me a potato masher. That's how you a real mom, you know.
We have a question for Jazmyn. How long have you been doing comedy?
Oh, for 5 years, and I just quit my job 3 months ago to do comedy full time.
Oh, congratulations. Okay, hold this. I'm gonna I'm gonna just make sure our mushrooms are not overcooking. Even though it's very hard to do. You guys see I haven't really been paying that much attention to these back here.
Now are you cooking full time? Because
No, I do. I'm pursuing comedy full time, but I do cook and clean and you know, whatever my husband asked me to do, pretty much. Because when you ain't got no job, I don't know if y'all know. When a man get hungry, he be like, order me something or cook something. I'm like, okay, order. That part.
Yeah, Chris feels like he got the okie doke because he's like, I live with a chef. Why am I always hungry? I'm like, because I'm cooking for everyone else.
Exactly.
Alright, I'm just gonna put this. So I've combined our mushrooms now. I started them in 2 pans, but look how much they have cooked down over here.
Y'all.
And now I'm gonna add in our other flavors. I'm gonna add in our tomatoes first so they have a chance to cook down.
To the mushroom.
Yeah, to the mushrooms.
Can you remind us why? Do you still have 2 separate pots of mushrooms, or you combine them?
No, I combine them.
Okay. And now
But I had 2 separate ones, so not a lot of steam would be created. So we got that flavor and
surface
color.
level. I mean, surface area.
Surface area, for sure.
Okay.
So I just added in some tomatoes, and these tomatoes have a little flavoring in them. And I'm gonna let these just cook a second before I add in my other ingredients. Alright, so let's add in that butter now.
Yes.
And then once you add in the butter, you don't really need the masher anymore. You need more like a
Girl,
spatula.
hold on now, because when you from the South, you know, you gotta make sure you don't waste nothing. My mom would be like, what? What is you doing?
You could like hit it too. I think that'll
I
help.
did.
On the side.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's done.
It's done now. To your liking.
Yeah.
What about these little things?
No, we're not gonna work for that.
Yeah, it's kind of stuck. Yeah, so you're just gonna mix it around, and then we're gonna add just a little bit of coconut milk. Before this amazing vegan butter came out, I used to just use coconut milk, and it tasted pretty good.
Now hold on.
It's not gonna taste like coconut.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if we need that, but go ahead.
We want them creamy and delicious.
You the expert.
And we want them spreadable. We're not gonna add that much.
Just a little bit? Okay.
And then we haven't added a lot. Actually, I don't think I've added any salt. So we're gonna add in some salt now too.
That butter actually tasted to me like what salted butter would taste like. But yeah. How much salt did you add?
Just a little. Well, not really, just a little bit. All right.
These are good.
These are really good.
Now hold on. I've never made mashed potatoes without pepper. Why you don't add pepper?
You could. I don't normally because they're white, so for the aesthetic of it. But you could.
You and I
also, but if it would make you happier, we could put pepper in here.
What tastes good?
Do they need the pepper?
You know, a little pepper. You know.
No, because
I'm just kidding.
You're the special guest today.
I love pepper in my mashed potatoes, so that's just like, I don't know, a thing I grew up with.
I also cook for a lot of families that don't put pepper because they have small children and their children don't like pepper.
Pepper's so spicy.
It really, to them it is. So I've gotten used to not cooking with pepper. So it's not really, it's just a personal preference.
I can't deal with Catherine and her spicy pepper preferences. Like, just a little.
What about white pepper?
White pepper tastes like elephant smell, so I don't really like to use it.
Yeah.
Like elephant smell, like at the zoo.
I love white pepper.
Really?
I don't know.
Girl, you know how many Asian recipes? You about to offend a whole bunch of Asian people in here talking about white pepper.
I mean, your smell is very unique to yourself,
You're
so
Asian?
I can't.
No. Do I look Asian? I compete like Japanese.
Maybe your husband's Asian.
Huh?
Maybe your husband was Asian.
I already said my husband
Yeah,
African.
African and Asian.
All right.
Did you just put the lentils in?
Yes. So back here, I just put our lentils in. I put some shredded carrots. Traditionally in shepherd's pie, you would put peas, but I don't like peas, so we're not putting them in there. But totally welcome. This recipe you can really play around with, and depending on what you like is what you can put in it.
Do we have a bartender?
The final thing that we're gonna do
That's the
to
last
finish
thing.
off this shepherd's pie is add in some fresh herbs. So
I'm not drunk or anything. I'm just like this. Like, I'm nuts.
we're gonna shave
I thought your husband was allergic to them.
off. We're gonna take our herbs
We have another comedian on set.
off the stems because although they're edible, they're not that great to eat if you
The
get them in
stems?
your mouth. Yeah. And so we're using thyme, rosemary, and sage, which are very
sounds good.
typical Thanksgiving herbs. Like a lot of people use these for their turkey. So since we're doing a Thanksgiving meal, I decided to.
So wait, for something like this, I don't know if y'all can see how baby the like sprouts are. You just pull it off like this?
Yeah, the other way though. So you want to hold it at the top, but the top is very dainty, so you might have to hold it just like that. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, and then for sage, you don't need to use a ton of sage because it's a very strong flavored herb. So these are the cutest little sage leaves I've ever seen.
sage.
I normally see them bigger. All right, so we'll just put that in a little pile, and then you're gonna try to like bunch them together, and then just run the knife through.
Do I do it fancy like you were doing earlier, or do
We'll
I have
bunch
to...
it first, because then you'll get a smaller, and like rotate your knife. Or there you go, perfect.
Ooh, this is not cut.
I want to.
So one thing that's fun about herbs is I got these little lavender packs from Trader Joe's that you put in the dryer, and they make your clothes smell like lavender. Oh my god, they are so good. This reminds me of them.
This is the garlic powder. So I'm just seasoning our lentils back here. I just put some salt, some garlic powder just on top of the garlic that we already put in there, and pepper for our friend Jazmyn here. And then I'm gonna just stir it and let this kind of cook down. And while I'm actually gonna put a lid on it.
Can we get some more questions? Y'all boring.
Well, the Hannibal, the African, said use your elbow. ELBO. And I had to put a W.
I'm just kidding. That was a joke. It didn't land.
It didn't land.
Didn't get any laughs.
You have to laugh in your head on this show because no one's actually laughing at us, so you just have to think you're
No,
really
we have
funny.
people in the room that he said use your elbow, and I said y'all didn't get it.
What's that, Chefleen?
All right, so we want to thicken our lentils, and typically you could use like cornstarch. A lot of people are kind of steering away from cornstarch because corn is also not so great for you. Everything's not so great for you. So we're gonna use chickpea flour. Chickpea flour has gotten a lot of popularity now with the plant-based diets. I actually made something the other day, which was just chickpea. It was a chickpea frittata. So instead of eggs, I roasted a bunch of vegetables and then just put like chickpea and water and a little bit of olive oil and baked it in the oven just like you would a frittata. It wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. And so it can also be used as a thickener, just like you would use cornstarch. So I'm going to mix this with a little bit of water, and then we're going to add this into our lentil mixture along with our herbs, and then we're going to taste it. Oh, actually, I'm not going to use, remember what you said earlier?
What?
I'm actually going to use vegetable broth for extra flavor. But you could use water if you don't have a giant thing of vegetable broth. So if you just want to mix that, like almost equal amounts.
Mix this with the flour or this.
Yeah.
What is this again?
Chickpea flour.
Chickpea flour.
Garbanzo beans.
Can you use arrowroot instead?
Yeah, you can use arrowroot. You can use potato starch. I forgot which one of those. If it gets too high of a heat, it can become slimy. One of those does. I'm not exactly sure which one.
Is this right?
Yeah, we want like a paste.
And should there be cold water for the cornstarch or chickpea starch?
It doesn't have to be cold. It can be whatever temperature. And we're using vegetable stock here just for the added flavor of it all. All right, so let's bring this over.
Looks like pancake mix. Yum.
Eric's careful. I'm gonna move this over. We're gonna add in these herbs, and then just go ahead and add that in too.
I'm gonna do like a sexy cooking show.
Yeah, that's not really my lane.
I'm just playing. It's not mine either.
So then you just want to mix this together. And it doesn't have to be all the way cooked. Like, you actually don't want everything to be mushy now because we're going to finish this in the oven. Just to toast up the potatoes. And so see how that, like, thickened that just a little bit? Did you see that? Yeah. And now it has, like, more of a gravy. So traditional shepherd's pie, they would take leftover, like, lamb, beef, whatever, and then make, like, a meat mixture like this and then top with potatoes and make, like, a gravy. So that's essentially what we just did. But before we put this in the oven, we definitely want to taste it because if it needs seasoning, this would be the time to do it. Not after we put it in the oven and we're serving it to people and we're like, this is actually not good.
That's what I would have done. I would have made the whole thing and then I would have tasted it before I put it on a plate and be like, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know this ain't good.
Do you need more pepper?
I haven't tasted it because I'm afraid.
I think I need more salt, but I'll let you decide. A little more salt and a little more pepper.
Maybe a little more salt. It tastes good to me, but a little bit more salt.
Yeah.
What's the paprika for over here?
Oh, duh, thank you. See, I just get to talking and forget. A little more salt. And then a lot of times when you're making vegetarian dishes and you need, like, you're missing, like, a hearty, meaty flavor, smoked paprika is one of my go-to things for vegetarian dishes. So I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of this.
Girl, that ain't no teaspoon.
Also,
It is whatever we want it to be.
Duran Cash said, my whole life I thought shepherd's pie was a dessert. Because it's a pie. It makes
That's me.
Really?
So let's
That's a
taste it
fact.
again now.
With the lamb and the beef?
I thought it was a pastry or something like that.
That's funny. Well, it comes with, it's supposed to be like
In the olden days, they made shepherd's pie. Oh, now it's like.
Now it tastes better.
In the olden days, they used to actually put mashed potato on the bottom, put the stuff in the middle, and mashed potato on top, so it was like encased in mashed potato. Which I guess you could still do, but
I don't like hot stuff. I'm gonna blow this for like 5 minutes. Okay.
He said you're lucky y'all didn't order something.
I will have the shepherd's pie.
Oh, the shepherd's pie.
what do you think? Good? The smoked paprika really added like a depth, right? That was kind of missing before. I'm
Yeah,
so
that
glad
was
that you pointed that out because I would have been like, ready to go.
That is good. You know what I would add to that? Some like habanero, because I love spicy.
Or like hot chili flakes.
Ooh, yes.
You got chili flakes?
You got chili flakes on yours, girl?
Excuse me.
I just put mine on top because I don't know if everybody likes spicy here.
So,
Y'all like spice?
I like spicy.
You like spice?
But not like too spicy.
I love like really spicy stuff.
she has cayenne.
Start
But
Are we
cayenne can get
really using aluminum foil because apparently it causes Alzheimer's?
Aluminum foil.
Oh,
aluminum
actually.
foil causes Alzheimer's. Well, what does it? So
we'll use
sugar,
cayenne.
right?
I forgot. We actually had a fancy
So it's
dish
getting
here.
old.
Oh, we got a different
I mean,
dish.
everything in this world can cause
Yeah.
all kinds of things.
But let's use our cute dish anyway.
But yeah, it's Thanksgiving. We want to impress our guests. We don't want to serve our things in pans. In
Girl, when you
aluminum
from-
pans.
Girl, when you going to Oak Cliff, Texas to serve your meal, you
That's how you know it's good when it's in the aluminum.
I hate it when my mama say, "Bring me my pan back." Come on now, I can't get your pan back, Mama. I'm sorry.
All right. Actually, this is better anyway because it has less top part, so we can have a better layer of mashed potato.
Yes.
All right. So I'll let you.
Oh, I'll put it on top.
All right. Cool.
I'll put my love on top, like Beyonce said. I'm excited about this, y'all. It's actually really good. I hope y'all were paying attention. 'Cause
She was actually really sketchy.
I was
She thought this was
skeptical.
gonna be real sketchy, but
it's really good. Because when you told me, you were like, "Oh, lentil shepherd's pie," I texted her and I was like, "Girl, I would never, ever, 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 ever order that, ever. But let's make it." And it turned out, I'm excited about it. So how long are we gonna let this bake in the oven though?
everything is actually cooked inside of it.
Yeah.
So it's really just to like kind of get a crispiness to the potato, or until the show is over. But at home, till you get a crispiness on the potato. She brought over some cayenne, so if you want to lightly sprinkle the top, it'll not only give flavor but color to the top. Also, if you wanted, you could use nutritional yeast on top to give it a sort of cheesy flavor.
I'm gonna eat these potatoes.
She's like, "Mom, don't judge me." I'm not leaving anything behind.
Do you want to like make this pretty? Is there like any like
That's it's rustic. It's a rustic dish, so it doesn't have to be like completely smooth and.
What's the lady who got all the kids on the cooking channel?
The Pioneer Woman?
Yes,
Yeah,
I love her. She got all the kids and everything.
All right.
I love her.
Wait, what else can go on top? We missed that.
Oh, cayenne pepper and nutritional yeast if you want like a cheesy flavor. Sometimes they put actual cheese on top of this, but again, this is all vegan. We put lentils, mushrooms, carrots. I'm like, that's enough for me. I'm just kidding. And then I'm just gonna put this in the oven, guys. Yes. All right. We have, what time is it, guys?
And this ain't one of those shows where she put this in the oven and she got one already ready that she gonna pull out of the oven.
We got time.
We are going to, I think we're gonna move on to dessert because broccolini, we can rush through that at the end.
Girl.
But let's get to the dessert. So first, let's simply wash off our knife. Our dessert is really, really easy, and it's also vegan because this is plant-based Thanksgiving. I'm just rinsing off our knife or board.
One thing my mom did really do growing up, where she tried to do, is like really clean up as you go.
Yes, very important.
So,
your food actually tastes better if you're more organized. I truly believe that because you never know. Like if we left all of this stuff here, we might end up with like some lentils in our pie, and that would not be delicious. All right, I'm gonna turn off this boiling water that I had going on over here. Okay, the pie is super easy. All we need are avocados. I don't even think we need all these avocados. The store, they were a little sad avocados. They weren't as ripe as I would like them to be.
can you use avocado? Like this one's firm. Can you use this for your pie?
For this one is, so you see how it presses a little bit? It's not like the peak of ripeness, but it's fine because we're going to blend it.
Yes.
If I was going to eat just an avocado, I would not want to eat this one.
Right.
Also, we're mixing it with chocolate, so if it has like because unripe avocados have like sort of a weird flavor sometimes. So like, in like guacamole and stuff.
Is it organic, your avocados?
I don't believe so. I don't know.
There's actually a way from this label to tell whether your stuff is organic. I just don't know how.
No, I don't think they are, honestly. But avocados are one of the things that you don't really need to buy organic because they have such thick skin that the pesticides are not actually entering. Like lettuce, definitely want to be organic.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just melting. I'm gonna put these in the chocolate
Hold
chips.
on, I don't know. Let me taste it.
I'm gonna put these in the microwave for like a minute.
Dark chocolate?
Yes. It's 72% cacao, which
perfect.
is how much, 72%, so 100 would be 100% dark chocolate, no sugar added, no milks added, no anything. Actually, I'm saying this is vegan, but these might not even be, they may contain milk. But you can get chocolate chips that like definitely don't contain any like dairy. But these probably are like, on the cusp, it's like something you could lie to a vegan, like, yeah, it's definitely vegan.
Girl, it's vegan.
So we want to cut open these avocados. Let's actually not use that one. I thought I got 5. Oh. Do you know how to cut an avocado?
I think so. Let me do it, and then you tell me if it's right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so for organic, if the number on the label starts with a 9, you know it's organic.
Ooh, who said that? Hannibal?
No, Miss Rubier.
Oh, thank you,
Well,
girl.
these start with a 4. But like I said,
is that right?
Yeah. Now
And
to take
then
out
you
the
go.
seed. Yeah, and twist. And that's how you know your avocado is actually a good ripeness. Because the seed will come out easily. If the seed comes out with like any sort of difficulty, your avocado is probably not that ripe. All right. And then I'm gonna grab a spoon. And I will scoop these. Actually, so we're gonna use a blender here. And I'm gonna add in, since we already have the coconut milk open, I'm gonna use coconut milk, but you could use any kind of like non-dairy milk, almond milk, cashew milk, list goes on and on. Another tip when you're blending things, you always want to add in the liquid first because it'll help your blender like work a little bit easier. But I'm gonna be a little stingy on it because I don't want this to be avocado chocolate soup. I want it to be like a pudding. So we want to be like stingy with the liquid at first, and if we need more liquid, we'll add it later.
Okay.
That was perfect.
Something new.
I have a question.
Question.
What does ripe mean? Like, it sounds basic, but ripe. You hear people say that. I've been hearing it my whole life. What does ripe even mean?
Ripe means
ready, like
it's good to eat. Like if it's underripe, with fruit is underripe, and avocado is actually
like
fruit.
hard, you know?
It's hard. It's not as flavorful.
Okay.
Like fruits have a lot of sugar, so they're not gonna have like this avocado is kind of underripe. Like it's pretty hard.
Okay.
The other two I just put in were actually pretty ripe, I think.
You know when you go out and you meet a girl and she nice and she cute,
Yeah.
you be like, oh, she right. And she got a little attitude. She ain't right. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, she underdone or whatever. What's the opposite of right?
I don't know.
She's not.
Stale?
She's not ready.
No,
you know? She's hard.
She's hard. What is the opposite of right? I know that. I just can't think of it right now.
Right?
Unright.
Unripe.
Yeah, there you go.
What?
Unripe sounds like something to do with fertility.
Yeah.
I know it does.
All right.
Oh.
Careful, that might be hot.
What does
It's
that
not.
smell?
So we
Smells
put
here.
in the chocolate chips in the microwave,
I don't want to
and then you just stir them. You don't. You can keep stirring. You don't want to overcook your chocolate chips because then they can like solidify. You also don't want to get any water in there because then it'll like get white and solidify too. Something to do with the sugars and
Smells bad.
oils and things in chocolate. But
You know what? The fact that you just microwave these chocolate chips, I'm like, my mind is blown because you know you always see cooking channels and they.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
We'll just keep going.
Where's that for? Why is that like doing that?
That's
It's the
smell.
I wish I opened the door.
Or this. Open that over there.
It's just there's like oil
Oh.
on the bottom.
Well, that's the first.
Welcome to Real Life Cooking, where it's actually real life. This is not a Food Network set, obviously, and the show must go on. So we're gonna keep talking about our melted chocolate chips. But what I was gonna say is you don't need to necessarily melt them all the way in the microwave. You remember how we took them out and they were still kind of pieces in, and then you just stir it, and it'll be And if you ever want an easy way to decorate a cake, you can use that. Put it in a Ziploc bag and like write "Happy Birthday" or whatever.
Okay.
Remind
So
us
you
what
can
we're
pour that
making
in there.
again here.
We're making avocado vegan chocolate pie because on Thanksgiving
Look at
everyone
that,
needs a
y'all.
pie.
Oh my
You're
god.
back to your sexy cooking show, right? All right, and we're not just gonna put in.
Ain't no fire up in here,
There's
girl.
not a fire, guys. We're all okay.
It's just smoky.
Foodie King says, does your milkshake bring all the boys to the yard?
Clearly, you might bring all the fire trucks to the yard too.
Okay.
You just gotta fan it. With a
Wait, you hear all those ambulances? Nope, they're not coming for us.
This
Wait,
is Cali.
You guys should see this effort to turn off the fire alarm over here.
Can I lick this?
Yeah. Is it hot? Oh. We're not gonna just use one kind of chocolate because we want super chocolatey flavor. We're gonna use 100% cacao, which this stuff tastes disgusting without any sugar.
It does.
But it's gonna have a deeply intense chocolate flavor. So we want to add that. And then also to help bring out some of the chocolate flavor, we want to bring in some vanilla. Vanilla extract.
Real vanilla, right?
Yes.
Because you know they make the imitation.
Yes.
Foodie King says 911 is on the way.
We hear them. They're on the way. But they're probably just trying to come to eat because it just smells so delicious coming out of this apartment. Salt.
We added salt.
Yeah, you always
Yeah.
want to add salt to desserts, especially chocolate desserts, because it like balances out the flavor. If you have like that Maldon salt, that sweet, like not sweet, but flaky salt, great addition here.
Let's go over what we're making again. We got new people who have joined.
Today we are making,
2 pies.
we're making shepherd's pie, lentil shepherd's pie, and we're making chocolate avocado pie. I think unfortunately because we have an hour, we're gonna have to skip the broccolini. But yeah, we're making our pie now. It's avocados. We have avocados, coconut milk, melted chocolate chips, and cocoa powder in the blender, and salt. And then we're just gonna blend this. Except for I don't know where I put the lid of the blender. It was somewhere here, or maybe I didn't bring it over here. Oh no, it's over there. Grab it.
Oh.
We also have special guest Jazmyn on the show, who's been teaching us a lot and learning a lot herself, right?
Yeah. If y'all want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at JAZMYNJW. And everything you need to know is there, I think. Hard work.
I didn't want to like start blending in the middle of talking. Like, if you want to follow me on Instagram.
Okay, don't let me shine.
So if you guys
Coconut
remember,
oil.
I didn't put so much coconut milk in here because we don't want a soup. We want a pudding.
Okay.
Depending on the strength of your blender, it might be. You might have to do this. You might have to take it off, shake it around so the blade gets more liquid inside.
So hold on. My main question though is why are we even using avocados and not something else?
So we're making vegan. Avocados are a great thickener.
Okay.
Like they, as soon as you pull them, they become thick. We also don't want to. You could use tofu, but I feel like a lot of people are offset by tofu.
Yeah.
And
I
avocados.
love this.
Avocados are kind of better than. So if you were, sorry,
If this was not vegan, what would we be using?
eggs. Eggs.
Oh, okay.
You would make like a custard. So this is like a fake pudding, essentially.
Everything vegan is fake.
It's not mixed all the way, but
It's a pudding.
it's a pudding, fake pudding.
Kiana's joke.
So it looks not that great right now because it's not silky smooth.
Also,
So we're gonna add.
apparently-
Apparently, tofu's bad for your health.
Tofu is bad for your health.
It is.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because it's soy. I mean,
That seemed like a
eat what works for you. If you feel great eating tofu, show.
Again?
We're not even cooking anything anymore. All right. But what we want to do is taste this to see how much sugar we want to put in now before we finish blending it. So if you want to lick that, I'll get another one. Are you scared?
Well, I mean, the coconut milk is not mixed.
I'm not mixed at all.
I'm afraid I'm gonna give a bad. What do you think?
It's not bad. It needs sugar for sure.
There's a such thing as
Sure.
non-soy tofu as well.
Yeah, it's off.
It
Yeah,
tastes
done.
like pudding that is not really sweetened.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
why.
So it's not bad.
We're gonna add sugar. If you don't want to use sugar, you could use coconut sugar, which we have over here.
Oh.
You could use agave, you could use honey, you could use maple syrup.
What's coconut sugar? This is
You could use dates milk in this bag.
You said that?
It's just ground up coconut. But I think desserts deserve sugar,
Which one?
so I'm gonna add sugar.
Hold on, so coconut sugar
Avocado pie?
is ground up coconut, but it's sweet.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
So it's palm sugar. I don't know the science facts behind coconut sugar.
I don't know coconut sugar.
So I just added, like I said, I like dessert. If you're gonna make dessert, you might as well have sugar.
Yeah, you have
So how many cans of coconut milk are you using? And can you add a couple of dates to make it sweet instead of sugar?
to. Is that a question or is that you, Kiana?
You could add dates for sure. You would need a stronger blender because dates are hard to blend in a blender, like all the way.
You know what? Y'all are smart.
As you can see, oh there it goes.
Hello.
So do you not like coconut milk?
I do. In dessert. So, and I don't like to mix savory and sweet too much. So when you have coconut milk in a dessert and chocolate avocado, that's fine for me. But when you put coconut milk on like mushrooms, or in the potatoes, right? I get skeptical.
This is like
yeah.
pretty smooth.
That's smooth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's taste it to see
Okay,
if
I'm
there's enough
tasting
sugar. Question? Now it's
Statement. Not a damn chef said, save me a slice of that chocolate avocado pie. I need some. Taste
Okay.
that creation.
For sure.
I would probably put a little bit more sugar.
I would too because it's dessert. Yes.
Mm.
But if you didn't know there was avocados in there, would you think there was
I would
avocados?
never know.
So
Just a little bit more sugar.
Would you like soak the dates prior to blending them so they're easier to work with?
Yeah. Or you could get like a Vitamix if you're balling out of control, and then you don't even have to worry about.
But what's a Vitamix?
A Vitamix is a type of blender. It's like really high end and expensive. It's like $400.
How do you feel about a NutriBullet? I don't have one.
I like a NutriBullet because sometimes, like with heavy equipment, like blenders, I'm just too lazy to wash them, and NutriBullets are a lot easier to wash than a blender.
I'm lazy too.
All right,
I have
you
a
wanna taste
juicer.
that?
I've
One
used
more again.
One time, I was like, oh, I want a juicer so bad. My husband got me a juicer for Christmas. For Christmas, don't ever do that. 'Cause that's not a good Christmas gift. But
He's trying to support your healthy
he
habits.
was.
You're like, I wanted jewelry. I wanted a dog.
I like experiences.
I'm gonna get her a gym membership.
Don't give me no gym membership. Like, I can't pay that $15 a month myself.
Right?
All right.
But the juicer you have to break it all down. It's
Sweet enough?
clean.
Jason.
Is that really gonna be 8:30?
I don't know. Half my family got diabetes, so we could use a little bit more vanilla. It tastes good, but how sweet do I want it?
Is it white
You want it
people
to be
sweet
dessert.
or black people sweet?
There is a difference.
Is it white? It's not black people sweet.
It's not Kool-Aid
I
sweet.
don't want it like Lanny's.
See, Kiana here, our producer, she's
She's over here
She's
directing
very
us like she's the
sophisticated.
chef. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pour it into this bowl so it'll be easier because the avocado is thickened up so nicely. It gets really hard to blend in your blender. So I'm gonna pour it in this bowl so we can mix in.
Let's treat it like it's Kool-Aid.
What we
Said not a damn chef.
You know what though? If you had some like whipped cream or ice cream, that would be the perfect amount of sweetness for it.
Or if you coated this with another layer of chocolate. Because in reality, you'd want to put this in the fridge and let it set.
But how would we do this for vegan? Because whipped cream and ice cream.
No, you can
They
make
have
coconut
vegan-
cream.
They have vegan whipped cream now though.
Oh, okay.
You can make your own just coconut milk in the fridge for a long time and then whip it.
Really?
Yeah,
In the fridge and not the freezer.
the fridge for sure.
Okay.
Let's mix it so we can get the desired amount of sweetness out.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We on the right track.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's,
Oh,
wait,
you're
that's
on
a
the right track.
lot.
You're on the right
Oh my
track.
God. Are you sure?
Diabetes.
Okay, sorry.
It's dessert.
I just know that like vanilla extract has a very strong flavor.
Yeah.
So
It's
Are you
delicious.
the chef? Or
I'm
are we
not.
the
I'm not.
chef? Stick to your test.
Somebody
Do we have
said-
any questions?
Somebody
We got it
said
to work.
diabetes. Just the word diabetes.
Listen, that was a joke. Do y'all not know when I'm playing? I mean, half my family
Also-
got diabetes, but I don't want
Also,
that.
the other danger of adding too much sugar is that it won't set because sugar is gonna
It's going to caramelize.
not caramelize. It just
Yeah.
won't set as well.
It's out of control now.
Somebody said that.
Yes.
It's not out of control. Y'all not here.
So this is just a pre-made crust. Most pre-made crusts in the grocery store are vegan, but make sure to read the
did not
label so you know.
Trader Joe's also has a really good coconut whipped cream that we could also use.
Yeah.
Is that foil gonna cause our time?
I'm done asking.
I'm done with all of you.
No one asked that. That was Chris's question.
And then I thought it was nice because it's a festive occasion, and these are $2.49 at Ralph's. I was so excited in New York. These are always like $1,000 to just top them with a few, like make a little nice, design.
See, at my
Around.
family house, they'd be like, "Oh, that's so pretty." Then they pick those off and put them to the side. Don't even eat them. It's like, that's for decoration. Can you
have
eat
to
these?
heat that?
Yes, Auntie, you can eat them.
You have to heat that?
Heat it? No, it's done. So you would set this in the fridge, and it should set, so you could cut it off, and it
How
wouldn't be
long?
pudding.
What if we put it in the freezer?
At least you could do that too. I don't know what will happen, considering I have never done that.
Yeah.
But it might turn into a nice like icebox sort of pie.
I got this ice box where my heart used to be.
Very appropriate. All right. So yeah, should we put one in the middle? Yeah,
Pretty.
we're doing
No,
it.
don't put it in the middle.
And if you had some sea salt, you could sprinkle that over.
No,
Because
we ain't
again,
doing that.
Sea salt pairs very, very nicely with chocolate. Now let's pull out our main attraction of our dish that also made a lot of excitement in this house today. Sorry. Our shepherd's pie. And look at you guys, we're drawing to the near end of real life cooking in Los Angeles
Oh, that
with
looks
my
good.
amazing guest, Jazmyn W.
I can't wait.
Can you tell them again how to reach you or
Oh!
find you?
If y'all want to follow little old me, you can do so on Instagram at JAZMYNJW. I don't know if you or somebody you know will be in Baltimore, but I will be in Baltimore this weekend opening for Face on Love. So follow me on Instagram, get all the details.
All right, and thank you guys for joining me on Real Life Cooking. There's one more episode of the year. It's going to be a festive holiday occasion in December 9th, I believe. But thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Seema and Kiana for filling in and the lovely house that we're here. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.
Bye.